At noon, Governor Josh Green today delivered his third State of the State address to a joint session of the Hawaii legislature. He spoke about a range of issues, the first being Hawaii's cost of living. He says the large income tax credit that he recently signed into law will keep $5.6 billion in taxpayers' pockets over the next 7 years.
A family of four making the median income of $88,000 for that family in Hawaii will see its take-home pay increase by more than $3,600 per year by 2031 when the tax reform has been fully implemented. And these tax cuts are already going into effect now. And by 2031, the number of Hawaii households that will pay zero state income tax will rise from 25% to 40%. Keeping more money in people's pockets, and it will also stimulate our statewide economy and our economic growth.
He also talked about what his administration is doing in the coming years to build more affordable housing.
For the next 2 years, we've requested over $500 million for housing initiatives, including $250 million for the Rental Housing Revolving Fund to develop more affordable housing. $30 million for Phase 2 of the 99-year leasehold program on Oahu, and $62 million for the University of Hawaii West Oahu infrastructure development for the University Village near the rail.
We have the governor's full State of the State address on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Daryl Huff will also have the highlights from the speech coming up later on First at 4. Opening statements are underway in the retrial of Eric Thompson. He's the man accused in the 2022 killing of John Tokuhara, a Waipahu chiropractor who was having an affair with Thompson's wife. Now, Thompson's first trial ended with a hung jury last year. Prosecutors are again claiming that Thompson killed Tokuhara because he ruined the couple's image of a perfect life, while the defense is arguing that the couple worked through the affair and that Tokuhara had other enemies.
He wants to present as if his life is perfect, but it never was, and it certainly wasn't in the months after the affair. You'll see that throughout this trial, Eric Thompson planned this murder, and he executed this murder nearly flawlessly.
From the discovery of the affair to January 12th. Yes, it was a hard time. It was a hard time. That's natural. Okay? They worked at it though. There's going to be allegations that Eric controlled Joy so much that that her brother and sister, Kelly and Danny, could not see Emma. Right? We'll show you pictures. Yes, they did.
We'll have more from court coming up on later editions of HNN. President Donald Trump is spending his first full day in office tackling a variety of issues, including Congress, public investment, and the border. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Trump is banking on GOP congressional leaders to help move his agenda in Congress, inviting them to the White House during his first full day in office. CBS News has learned the president is also set to announce billions of dollars in private sector investment to build a supercomputer that will help develop the next generation of artificial intelligence. The new venture, called Stargate, will start with a data center project in Texas.
Already, some of Trump's new executive actions signed within hours of taking his oath are facing legal challenges. 18 states filed a lawsuit Tuesday over the order seeking to overturn birthright citizenship. The attorneys general saying it's in clear violation of the Constitution's 14th Amendment.
The question is, are the laws of our nation going to mean anything, or can they be taken away by a stroke of the pen?
With a crackdown on illegal immigration a top priority for the new White House, Reverend Marianne Edgar Buddy had this message during this morning's national prayer service attended by the First Family.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away.
Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, Hawaii's Attorney General is challenging President Trump's order to end birthright citizenship, calling it unconstitutional. AG Ann Lopez says Hawaii is joining 17 other states and the District of Columbia in filing a lawsuit to defend basic constitutional rights for all Americans. The 14th Amendment says all persons born in the U.S. are citizens of this nation. And President Trump also signed an executive action pardoning or commuting nearly all of the January 6th insurrection defendants, concerning even some Republicans. Jared Hill has more.
President Donald Trump attended a prayer service at the National Cathedral Tuesday, one day after claiming divine intervention is why he survived an assassination attempt last summer.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
Shortly after taking the oath of office, the 47th president signed a record number of executive actions.
This is January 6th.
He also issued broad pardons and commutations for defendants who attacked the Capitol on January 6th, even those convicted of attacking law enforcement. When asked why, Trump made baseless claims the FBI played a role in instigating the attack.
There were outside agitators involved, and obviously the FBI was involved.
Michael Fanone is a former D.C. police officer who was attacked at the Capitol.
I can assure you that these individuals will go on to commit acts of violence, maybe even commit acts of violence against me or members of my family.
Trump issued a host of executive actions on his first day in office, including pulling the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accords and making an effort to end birthright citizenship, even though it's a constitutional right. He also halted a law requiring TikTok to break from its Chinese-based parent company.
The U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok.
And he designated drug cartels as terrorist organizations.
I, Marco Rubio, do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear.
Tuesday morning, Vice President J.D. Vance swore in former Florida Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, the first Trump cabinet pick to start his new job. Jared Hill, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And 2 men from Hawaii have been pardoned for their involvement in the January 6th insurrection. Former Proud Boys Hawaii leader Nick Oakes and U.S. Army soldier Alexander Poplin. Oakes was arrested by the FBI the day after the insurrection when he landed at Honolulu's airport. He was sentenced to 4 years in 2022 for obstructing an official proceeding. He and a co-defendant threw a smoke grenade. Meanwhile, Poplin was arrested at Schofield Barracks in September of 2024 for allegedly assaulting a law enforcement officer with a flagpole during the riot. The Coast Guard and Civil Air Patrol are expanding the search area for 2 missing Oahu teens last seen on Friday. Today is day 4 in the search for 17-year-old Samantha Chun and 18-year-old Joseph Fujioka. Loved ones camped overnight at Keiki Beach as they coordinated their own efforts once emergency crews were done for the day. Missing persons flyers are being put up around the area.
I know there were flyers posted on all the cars. There was a flyer on my doorstep today. It seemed like there were about 100 people that met at Foodland, fanned out, and then did the ground search.
The currents change every day with the dropping swell. So just the dynamic is constantly changing, and we're trying to adjust to that to see what we can do to the best of our ability.
He is the lead on the search and says it will evaluate the situation today before making the final call on suspending their efforts. The man convicted of killing a Maui pre-med student in a drunk driving crash in Arizona has learned his fate. Vincent Ian Acosta has been sentenced to 22 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of second-degree murder. The wrong-way crash killed Wailuku native Hunter Balberti and 2 of her Grand Canyon University roommates back in October 2022. Balberti, a Baldwin High alum, was 19 years old. A 60-year-old man was rushed to the hospital in critical condition after an e-bike crashed last night in the Kapolei area. It happened just after 8 p.m. on Farrington Highway near La'aloa Street. That's right near Kamokila Community Park. HPD says the man was attempting to change lanes on his e-bike when he sideswiped a car. He was thrown off his bike and onto the road. The man was not wearing a helmet and suffered an extensive head injury. And on Maui, a Lahaina man was taken into custody after he allegedly entered the restricted wildfire disaster area illegally. Police say at around 9 p.m. on Saturday, the 39-year-old evaded a security checkpoint. He was later found in a golf cart with an open container of liquor. He was arrested without incident and later posted $400 bail.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's take a look at our first alert hour-by-hour forecast. Right now, we're in the green, seeing fair weather and temperature is around 80 degrees in town. And we are seeing some southeasterly Kona winds. Expanding this out throughout the rest of this evening, variable winds are expected across the rest of the state, even some Kona winds throughout the rest of this afternoon. Calm as we're going into the evening, and changes are on the way. Taking a quick look at our first alert radar and satellite, we're watching this low pressure system well to the north and northwest of the state and its associated cold front. This is going to move well close to the island chain as we get into this upcoming Wednesday and Thursday. I'll give you the full breakdown on that and our first alert futurecast coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Drew. Firefighters in Southern California turned their attention to 3 brush fires. The devastating Palisades fire is now 61% contained. A fire weather watch remains in effect through tonight through Thursday evening, and the Los Angeles mayor is looking ahead to potential flooding.
I'm issuing an executive order to shore up burn areas and stem the flow of toxic debris in the event of rain this weekend.
Firefighters also tackled several small blazes in San Diego County. Evacuation orders were issued for residents in line of the Lilac fire. And a massive winter storm is dumping snow and ice along parts of the Gulf Coast. In Houston, Texas, people woke up to a fresh blanket of snow on the ground, with one person capturing video of snow on a beach in Galveston. The rare system even brought snow to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, covering a tiger at the zoo. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued a state of emergency ahead of this storm.
Expect hazardous conditions. These conditions we're not used to in Florida. There's going to be a lot of people that have never been in conditions like this on the road. If you're out there now thinking like you can just power through it, I mean, there will be accidents, and we don't want that to happen.
The snow also impacted travelers, with both airports in Houston suspending operations today. Several school districts in East Texas also canceled classes. Well, ahead on This Is Now, as the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas holds steady, hundreds of humanitarian aid trucks roll into Gaza, while thousands of displaced Palestinians return home. Plus, Casey Lund takes us to Waikiki, where industry leaders are discussing cutting-edge developments in communications that will help connect the most remote corners of the state. Thousands of displaced Palestinians continue to make their journey back to their homes in Gaza, and more aid trucks rolled into the enclave as ceasefire entered its third day. Danielle Hamadijan reports from Tel Aviv.
Good morning, and it has been a good 2 days, according to the United Nations. The UN says that there's been significant progress in getting aid into the Gaza Strip, that the past 48 hours have gone relatively smoothly. We're not used to hearing such words by the UN, but just goes to show that this fragile truce is for now holding. Now, translating those words into numbers, and keep in mind that over the past few months, the average daily number of trucks going in was between 50 to 70. Yesterday, 900 trucks were allowed in. The day before that, around 600, carrying not only humanitarian aid and supplies, but as well as commercial goods. And 600 was roughly the average daily number of trucks going in before the war began. This morning, also warnings by the IDF that Israeli soldiers remain deployed in certain areas of the Gaza Strip, and warning people not to approach them. It also said that if Hamas adheres to the terms of the deal, that people will be able to go back to northern Gaza, the worst hit area. In fact, people have already started to return, even though there's not much left. It is home to them. Palestinians will tell you that they have a history of forced displacement, and so one way or another, they will go back to their home in northern Gaza. Danielle Hamamjan, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Here at home, technology and innovation are taking center stage this week as industry leaders from around the world gather in Waikiki for the annual Pacific Telecommunications Council Conference. Casey Lund has more on how this event is helping shape Hawaii's future.
Aloha from Waikiki. We're here at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. The 5K walk run benefiting Make-A-Wish underway. And check it out, just shy of $16,000 raised for Make-A-Wish Hawaii, and actually a little bit more with some other sponsors. We've got Austin, who used to be a Make-A-Wish kid, now volunteers for Make-A-Wish Hawaii. James Donnelly for Make-A-Wish Hawaii. But I want to start with Brian Moon. He's CEO of Pacific Telecommunications Council, the conference that we're all here for, a pretty big deal. I want to talk a little bit about what's happening here this week.
So this week we are bringing together executives from the telecom industry in Hawaii for 1 week to plan their agendas for the rest of the year, to talk about where the industry is headed and what they're planning for the rest of the year.
And what a great way to start today anyway, before everybody goes and gets all dressed up and get ready to go sit in the conference room all morning long, which I'm sure will be fun, but a good way to start the day, and we're raising some money for Make-A-Wish.
Absolutely. We have thousands of executives coming from all over the world. We're all awake at 3 o'clock in the morning anyway, so why not partner with a good cause and run 5K first thing in the morning before their business meetings start.
I love that. And we beat last year's record. I think it was close to 12,000, a little over 11,000. I want to move over to James Donnelly here. What does this kind of money mean for the mission for Make-A-Wish Hawaii?
It's really such a huge deal. You know, part of our mission is just that together we can come together to grant wishes for local children who are battling critical illnesses. And this is really just a huge sense of togetherness, where a huge conference comes out to Hawaii and they see that the community can use a little help here. And we do have 86 children right now in Hawaii waiting for their one true wish. And this money will make an impact.
I love that. And speaking of impacts, Austin with us, you benefited from this amazing organization. You wanted to give back, right?
I did. It impacted my life so vastly that I had to come out and be a part of the program entirely for the rest of my life, hopefully. And these kids, I know personally how hard it can be to go through these things, and I just know that this money, these people here, are impacting them so greatly right now.
That's awesome. Austin, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your story. Check it out with another donation, I think about $2,000, close to $18,000 raised here for Make-A-Wish Hawaii. By the way, the Pacific Telecommunications Council Conference, that's a mouthful, is still going on for a couple more days. If you're interested, if you're in the industry, you want to learn a little bit more, we have all the details at hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll send things back to you for now.
Hey, thank you, Casey. Stick around. Coming up after the break, I'll show you what we're tracking, talking about that cold front, and take an overall look at the upcoming weather pattern.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's start off this forecast with my First Alert Weather headlines and what we're tracking. We've got light winds out there by the time we get to the rest of this afternoon and evening. It's already light and variable, and we're also tracking a cold front that's going to arrive throughout tomorrow and early Thursday morning, and even the potential for a few thunderstorms in the forecast. However, they do look to be rather variable. Here's our weather pattern. We're tracking that cold front, but there's a lot that's going into this forecast. There's a lot that we need to discuss. This is going to be coming in from the northwest. You can see this is Wednesday around midnight where we're seeing a lot of that activity in the models. This is a weak cold front again for Wednesday and Thursday, giving us scattered showers and some isolated thunderstorms. As we go into our First Alert Futurecast, you can actually see this impacting Kauai early Wednesday morning, going towards Oahu on Wednesday afternoon, and midday Maui County Wednesday evening. And it's expected to stall in between Maui County and Hawaii Island early Thursday morning and continue to fall apart. Here's the key takeaways, though. This is similar to last week's cold front where we're watching this tail end of a weak cold front. We're going to see an increase in showers, and we're going to see increased instability in the atmosphere, which gives us the chance for some thunderstorms, but most of those are going to be well over the ocean, well off to our north and northeast. Also, a blast of cool air is in the forecast, dry and comfortable by the time we get to Thursday and Friday. Our winds outside right now relatively variable. Southeasterlies in town around 15 miles per hour. However, in Kaunakakai and Kahului, we're seeing winds out of the north around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And westerlies in Kona. As we go into our First Alert windcast, you'll notice these winds start to be a little bit stronger as the cold front approaches. Northwesterly winds behind the front, Kona winds just ahead of the front over impacting Hawaii Island, and then we'll see northwesterlies throughout the day on Thursday as well. You can take a quick look at our surf and shoreline forecast. Northwest, south, and east facing shores around 1 to 3 feet out there. East facing shores 2 to 4. This forecast is for Tuesday afternoon. And you can take a look at our swell forecast. We're expecting another high surf advisory to move in with this swell energy. We're also going to see some energy on north facing shores. The low pressure system, the storm associated with this cold front, is going to be sending some energy towards north facing shores, keeping high surf advisory level surf by the time we get to Thursday and Friday. Wednesday and Thursday highlighted in red because of that cold front. Big surf on Thursday as well because of that energy that's moving in towards us, and beautiful, comfortable weather expected by the time we get to Aloha Friday and this weekend.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, a hawk survives after crash landing into an SUV. The incredible recovery in 2 minutes. guys, we like to end the show with some good news, so here you go. It's hard to believe it's almost that time of year. The Punahou Carnival is a little over 2 weeks away. It's on February 7th and 8th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. This year's theme, Pa'ina Paniolo, a country carnival. So there will, of course, be carnival games and rides and those famous fresh malasadas and mango chutney. Proceeds support the school's financial aid program. I can't believe it's almost February.
I know, I can't believe it's here.
Crazy. And of course it's going to rain probably because it always does.
The forecast is a little bit too far away.
That's right. Well, we have an amazing story of survival from a hawk in Massachusetts.
This bird got stuck in an SUV's grill in a crash landing.
Boy.
Massachusetts State Police got a call last week from a driver who hit the hawk on the highway. Honda techs came out to disassemble the front of the car to get the bird out safely. And other than a few ruffled feathers, it seemed just fine and was taken to a local vet just in case.
He looks very concerned, but he's good. That's good. And lastly, this theater is going to the dogs. A group of French moviegoers brought their pets to watch the canine classic Lady and the Tramp in theaters. An art house cinema in Paris has opened its doors to let the dogs settle in the red cushy seats and watch the movie with their owners and, of course, plenty of treats. The cinema's program director has been working on more dog-friendly showings and is hoping to screen the other classic, 1992's Beethoven, starring a St. Bernard, and tickets are just €8, and dogs, of course, they get in for free.
I gotta say, I think I would not be able to handle that because I can't even handle it if people like whisper in a movie theater. If there was a dog, oh man.
Yeah, to sit still for an hour and a half, no way. All right, let's take, actually we're gonna say goodbye with this full screen, everybody. Thanks for watching This Is Now. More news first at 4 right here.